My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here. Okay, I might create a second video for it. All right, so this is it right here, and I want to go over these. This is some documents from court regarding Harry's lawsuit with the papers. Okay, and also I want to make this clear as I read this. This is my disclaimer. I am not a practice lawyer, or how do they call it in the UK, barrister, or anything with the legal system. I have zero experience in the legal system, and for me to actually translate these wordings, which I haven't read yet, okay, I want to read it and share it with you and give you my humble opinion based on it. So whatever I said, look, you could look on my screen. I have in the lower corner my humble opinion. Pretty much everything that I say on my videos are humble opinion, and I share them with you. So definitely those court papers, humble opinion. Okay, that's my disclaimer, because I have zero experience. Sometimes I have to look up the wordings in those documents to make sure I understand what they mean. Okay, so I never stepped. Maybe one class I took as an elective that had to do with the legal system, but it means nothing. Okay, so that's my disclaimer. So let's get started. Alright, first tweet. Prince Harry's case against the Daily Mail will proceed to trial next year, bearing a settlement. I think Harry has the mean, motivation, and dignity to take this all the way through trial, and I think he might just prevail. Okay, so there's the glass here. Cheers. Let's get started. So this is the court tribunal judiciary, the summary. Okay, damn, I can't enlarge it, but I'll enlarge it when I'm editing, so you guys could read along. Okay, Duke of Sussex versus Associated Newspaper Limited, 23 EWAC. I guess that's some of the document file or something. Mr. Justice Nicklin, 8 December 2023, so which was that yesterday. Okay, so let's start with paragraph 1. The court has today handed down the judgment on an interim application made in the Duke of Sussex claim for libel against Associated Newspaper Limited. This is not the final decision in the claim, which will now continue. Okay, so this first paragraph already making it clear. This is not the end of it. So it will continue pretty much. That I understand. 2. The article that has given rise to this claim for libel revealed how Harry tried to keep his legal fight over bodyguard secret. Then minutes after Mail on Sunday book story, his PR machine tried to put positive spin on the dispute. Was published in the Mail on Sunday on 20 February 2022, the article. It concerned a claim for judicial review that claimant, which is Harry, had launched in September 2021 to challenge the government's decision not to continue providing the Duke of Sussex with publicly funded security when he was in the UK. Okay, so there's some sections here. 3. So pretty much the second paragraph is like a summary why Harry is calling them to court. Okay, the Mail on Sunday, why he's calling them to court. Okay, 3. The text of the article is set out in the appendix to an earlier judgment of the court. So this is another section of what he's making reference to. If you want to read it, you go there. Okay, if it's there, I'll read it, but I don't know where to get it. The court's earlier decision on the meaning of the article. 4. In that earlier judgment, the court decided that the meaning of the article was... So pretty much this part here is gonna explain how the court sees the article that was written about Harry. Okay, so the court is interpreted how they saw the article. Okay, and that earlier judgment, the court decided that the meaning of the article was A, and his legal claim against the Home Office over the provision of police protection the Duke of Sussex had initially sought, confidentiality restriction that were far-reaching and unjustifiable, wide and it's very small, wide, and were rightly challenged by the Home Office on the ground of transparency and open justice. Okay. B, the Duke of Sussex was responsible for public statement issued on his behalf, which claimed that he was willing to pay for the police protection in the UK and that his legal challenge was to the government's refusal to permit him to do so, whereas the true position, as revealed in documents filed in the legal proceeding, was that he had only made the offer to pay after the proceeding had commenced. And okay, so they're saying here Harry had suggested he wants to pay for it. That was in the middle of the dispute, it seems, right? So Harry said he will pay for it. Okay, he will pay for it, but it was in the middle of the process, it seems like. But it seems at the same time, the whoever is running the show, the Vivek or the government or whatever, then even bother to look into Harry's saying that he wants to pay for it. Okay, because in some tweets, the squad be making this argument with some of the racists who's against Harry, and why should the government be paying for this? They refuse to acknowledge this part here. So the court is saying Harry had decided to pay for it, but it was in the middle of it. And then what happened here, the other side decided to completely ignore that part, that Harry wants to pay for it. Okay, this part it didn't say it, but I'm just inserting that. Okay, so let's continue. See, as such, the Duke of Sussex was responsible for attempting to misleading and confuse the public as to the true position, which was ironic given that he now held a public role in tackling misinformation. Okay, let's see here. As such, the Duke of Sussex was responsible for attempting to misleading. So they're saying here, Harry was trying to mislead the public or giving false information. Okay, as such, okay, there's some connection here. Okay, I'm gonna read the second part again because it seems like there's some connection between these two. The Duke of Sussex was responsible for public statement issued on his behalf. Okay, so Harry was supposed to make a public statement about his situation, which claimed that he was willing to pay for police protection in the UK and that his legal challenge was to the government's refusal to permit him to do so. So Harry was supposed to make a public statement to tell the public that, what was going on. Whereas the true position, as revealed in documents, okay, filed in the legal proceeding, was that he had only made the offer to pay after the proceeding had commenced. So in documents, court documents says that Harry only decided to pay for it while in the middle of the process of the proceeding. So they're saying that Harry was trying to mislead the public. That's what I'm getting here. But I don't think Harry was trying to do that. He just didn't make any statement at all. but they're saying that he was supposed to, but he did not. Okay, so you guys could interpret this in your own term, but whatever. Okay, as such, the Duke of Sussex was responsible for attempting to misleading. As such, the Duke of Sussex was responsible. So now they're blaming Harry is the one who is responsible for the misinformation. It seems like. Okay, and confuse the public as the true position, which was ironic given that he now held a public role in tackling misinformation. So they're turning the table on Harry. They're saying that Harry is the one who's misleading. This is what I'm getting here. Okay, so let's continue. Alright, so you guys could interpret this in your own way. Let me know if you agree with what I'm understanding here. Okay, the court also held that the underlined words were an expression of opinion. So the court saw the underlining words were an expression of opinion, or the paper's words, that the way the court is seeing it. Okay, following that judgment, the Duke of Sussex reformulated his claim for libel to raise a complaint only about meaning. Yeah, they're blaming Harry here. They're saying it's Harry's fault. He's the one who's doing the misleading. That's what I see here. This is not looking good. But I don't think Harry was trying to misleading. But let's continue. Remember, this is what the court earlier decision on the meaning of the article. Okay, in that earlier judgment, the court decided that the meaning of the article was, okay, this is how the court's seeing it. Alright, court decision 13. For the reason explained in today's judgment, okay, the court has refused the Duke of Sussex dismissal application. Okay, the court conclude that the defendant, okay, so that's the paper, I think, defense of honest opinion has a real prospect of success and should go forward to trial. Okay, so it's moving forward. The defendant has a real prospect at trial of demonstrating that the Duke of Sussex had not made an offer to the government to pay for his security before he began his proceeding for judicial review. So they're saying that before, at the beginning, okay, the initial part, Harry never said he was gonna pay for it. But the thing is that they were stalling. So he was trying to figure out why he's not getting his security. Because this was owed to him due to his birthright, right? Okay, at trial, the court may find that the syndrome offer is irrelevant to the defense of honest opinion. Okay, syndrome offer. Okay, so that was the meeting that was taking place. Okay, remember they had given him that 1-year trial. Okay, and then as soon as something happened, and then they pull his security out. So they're saying this may not even be relevant anymore. Okay, so they may not even take this into consideration. Okay, the honest opinion defense does not rely upon a just one fact. The defendant has real prospect at trial of demonstrating at least the following facts. So claimant is Harry, the defendant is the paper. So they're giving a lot of leeway to the papers. that the press statement suggests that prior to the judicial review claim, the Duke of Sussex had made at least one previous offer to the government to pay for his state security, which offers had been rejected by the government. Okay. B, that the background briefing suggests that the judicial review claim was a challenge to the government's refusal to accept the claimant's offer to pay for his state security. But the thing is that as I'm reading this, because this is not looking good for Harry here, but if Harry is still in the middle of discussion with the government, how the hell do the paper know all of this step by steps?
The private life has to be private, and I hope people respect that.
How do the paper knows about all of this? So was Harry pretty much having a discussion with the paper? This is something very scary here as I'm reading this, because this is not looking good for Harry at all. They're pretty much giving the paper more of a leeway here. But at the same time, as I'm reading this, if Harry is making a decision or not argument, negotiation, that's it, is making a negotiation with the government.
The private life has to be private, and I hope people respect that.
How the hell do the paper know step by step what's going on between something that is going privately? This is what raising my concern here. Okay? So let's continue. That these suggestions were not accurate, or at least did not give the full story. Okay, the court held it is not fanciful that the defendant will be successful at trial and demonstrating that the public statement issues on the Duke's behalf sought to promote the JR claim was JR. Judicial review? Okay, judicial review. Claims as his battle against the government perverse, decision to refuse to allow him to pay for his own security, there is a real prospect that the defendant will succeed in demonstrating that this was a misleading description of the issue, and the judicial review claim arguably promoted because it was hoped to show the Duke judicial review claim in positive light. Okay, it's very small, sorry, I'm reading kind of weird. Okay. And the judicial review claim arguably promoted because it was hoped to show the Duke's judicial review claim in positive light, whereas a portrayal of the judicial review claim as the Duke trying to force the government to reinstate his taxpayers funded state security risk his appearing in a negative light. And okay, I anticipate that at trial the defendant may well submit that this was a masterclass in the art of spinning, and the defendant argues it was successful in misleading and or confusing the public. The result media coverage relied upon by the defendant did indeed characterize the judicial review claim as the Duke's challenge to the government's refusal of his offer to pay. Again, as I'm seeing this here, if Harry is in the middle of what's the word that I just used? In a negotiation. Okay? So if Harry is in the middle of a negotiation, knowing full well he's only talking to one group, okay, which is the government. So how is the paper is knowing things that's going on? If Harry didn't know there was a third party who was listening and he was in the middle of negotiation, okay, you cannot get security because the taxpayers is funding, okay? Few days later passed, going back and forth, okay, I'll pay for it. In the middle of it, okay? Meanwhile, the paper's writing and the third person is there listening. So this is the part here that I think Harry should truly focus on, or his lawyer should focus on, because this is not looking good at all. So it was in the middle of discussion, of negotiation, and then the paper quickly put something out when Harry was not aware there was a third party listening in the middle of the negotiation. This is the part that I see here for Harry. Okay? So let's continue here. If the defendant does establish these facts at trial, it has a real prospect of demonstrating the third element for an honest opinion defense, that an honest person could hold the opinion that the Duke of Sussex was responsible for attempting to mislead and confuse the public as the true position of his judicial review claim, and that this was ironic given that he now held a public role in tackling misinformation. But he didn't put anything out. That's the thing. Did he? Did Harry? I may have that screenshot somewhere. Okay, so I'm editing right now, and this is the screenshot that I have here. Let me read it. Prince Harry inherited a security risk at birth for life. He remained sixth in line to the throne, served 2 tours of combat duty in Afghanistan, and in recent years, his family has been subjected to well-documented neo-Nazi and extremist threat. While his role within the institution has changed, his profile as a member of the royal family has not, nor has the threat to him and his family. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex personally fund a private security team for their family, yet that security cannot replicate the necessary police protection needed whilst in the UK. In the absence of such protection, Prince Harry and his family are unable to return to his home.
But there were many serious, credible threats against Meghan, were there, emanating from the far right?
Absolutely. If you'd seen the stuff that was written and you were receiving it, the kind of rhetoric that's online, if you don't know what I know, you would feel under threat all of the time.
So you were convinced that there was a genuine threat to Meghan's life on on more than one occasion, on several occasions?
We had teams investigating it. People have been prosecuted for those.
The Duke first offered to pay personally for UK police protection for himself and his family in January of 2020 at the Sandringham. Oh my God, this is where the judge, that's why the judge may possibly exclude the Sandringham agreement or negotiation. So Harry said in the Sandringham, when they were making negotiation, that 1-year review kind of thing, this is where Harry probably made that offer. Okay, they had pulled his security, and then, right? So at Sandringham, okay, January of 2020. Okay, so let's continue. That offer was dismissed. He remains willing to cover the cost of security as not to impose on the British taxpayer. And Harry have tracked record of him paying for his own. Look, he's in the US, he's paying for his own security. The the gift that the cottage, the Queen had given to him, and he repaid that back because the papers were making a big fuss and trying to intrude into his family life. Okay, so Harry has a track record of paying for his own. So the judge may remove the Sandringham thing. Okay, but let's continue. As is widely known, others who have left public office and have an inherent threat risk receive police protection at no cost to them. The goal for Prince Harry has been simple: to ensure the safety of himself and his family while in the UK, so his children can know his home country. During his last visit to the UK in July 2021, someone in the comment section had corrected me on this because I forgot where the chase was. This is where I was aware of the chase, and I forgot where. Okay, during his last visit to the UK in July 2021 to unveil a statue in honor of his late mother, his security was compromised due to the absence of police protection whilst leaving a charity event. Okay, so I was sort of right in my comment because I was a bit confused or forgot which event. So the person said it was Well Child, and in my video, and I was saying I don't know if it was Prince Philip's death or the unveiling, so either one of these. So I was somewhat partially correct, was the unveiling, but I wasn't sure which one. And then the charity event was the Well Child. Okay, so it was almost the same time. Okay, the person who saw the video commented on it. Okay, after another attempt at negotiation was also rejected, he sought a judicial review in September 2021 to challenge the decision-making behind the security procedures in the hopes that this could be re-evaluated for the obvious and necessary protection required. The UK will always be Prince Harry's home and a country he wants his wife and children to be safe in. With the lack of police protection comes too great a personal risk. Prince Harry hopes that his petition, after close to 2 years of pleas for security in the UK, will resolve the situation. It is due to a leak in UK tabloid with surreptitious timing. We feel it necessary to release a statement setting the facts straight. This is what I was saying. He did not owe anyone a statement, but the tabloid, there was a leak that happened. Okay, I completely forgot all about this. There was a leak that happened while Harry is in the middle of negotiation. So I was right again. It was in the middle of negotiation that the paper's printing things that Harry wants to remain private. Alright, so let's get back to the original recording. And I think Harry only responded after the paper had put something out. But at the same time, Harry was talking to the government. So why will the paper quickly put something out while Harry's in the middle of the negotiation?
The private life has to be private, and I hope people respect that.
That's the thing that I'm thinking of. This is the way that I see it here. And I think this is why the judge wanted to go to trial. Harry needs to explain that part. If he's in the middle of a negotiation and things is coming out, when he's saying, I'm going to pay for it while in the middle of the negotiation, so where is this? Who in the government was giving the papers information of what was going on? This is the sense that I'm getting here. Okay, that's the sense that I'm getting here. Okay, so let's continue here. I'm almost done based on what was, posted on Twitter. Next step, 18. The Duke of Sussex claim will now go through its remaining pre-trial phases and unless resolved in some other way to a trial at some point in 2024. Okay, 19. Unless the parties reach agreement about these matters, there will be a further hearing on December 12, 2023 at 2 p.m. at which the court will consider the orders that should be made consequent upon the judgment. Okay, so on December 12th, which is what? Probably Monday? I think on Monday or Tuesday or something like that. They're gonna meet again to discuss this. And there's a possibility there might be a settlement out of court. I don't think, based on what I'm seeing here, I don't think the papers will settle. And I think also Harry has a good chance of pointing out, if I'm in the middle of a negotiation and the papers putting out, who in the government was giving papers those information? That's the point that I see here. Okay, so that's all that I have. So let's see here. Okay, these are the comments under it here. Okay, that took me 23 minutes. If he wins and Daily Mail is found guilty, what will be penalty be? Okay, Harry case is a civil action, so the penalty would be money and perhaps injunction against the Daily Mail. Okay, let's see here. No prison sentence. Nah, I don't think so. I wish for Daily Mail, but sadly, no. Okay, trial 2024 all the way. If it was about money, Harry would have settled ages ago. But did the paper offer to settle? So if Harry is suing and the paper never suggests to him to settle, so why will Harry say let's settle? So which means Harry will give the paper money. Okay, so the person who wants to settle is the one who's gonna shed out the money. So did the paper suggest of settling? I mean, people need to understand the steps. I mean, I'm not a genius or anything. All right, let's see here. He could settle for a large sum must include a public acknowledgement of wrongdoing and front pages of all tabloids at some time, including the Times, then on ITV, BBC, Morning Chat Show, etc. Contrary to King, to be settling for £1 million on the down low, not even telling his brother. Okay, but this one is not the same thing though. This case has to do with when Harry was trying to do with his security. The one that his brother settled at a court has to do with what is it? What was so many? There's so many files. There's so many lawsuits that's going on. The one that William took the money had to do with the phone hacking. Okay, so this is completely different. This one is between Harry and the paper because of his security issues, and which I just read here. It seems like in the middle of negotiation, finding out why he's not getting his security, the paper quickly put things out. Meanwhile, not knowing that Harry had already put, suggest of paying for his own security. Okay, but it's not looking good for Harry based on what I've read so far. The court is giving the paper a little bit more leeway here. Okay, so let's continue here. So there's the phone hacking and there's the security issues for Harry. So two different things. William has nothing to do with that. Then again, sometimes he finds his way and to get himself involved. So we shall see. Then again, like I was reading, how did the paper knows certain things was going out between Harry and the paper? Between Harry and the government. Okay, who taking bets, anyone? Which one will it be? Monetary settlement in 2023 or 2024 court trial. Either way, he's hoping that Prince Harry wins again or his oppressors. Okay, I think they will try and do anything to avoid discovery, but Harry isn't about the money, which is pound. It now makes sense for me reading it from your handle. Thanks. We pray. Yeah, we need to pray because, all odds over there, people in position of power, seems, okay, to be against Harry. Okay, the people needs to stand with Harry. The little people in the UK, which many of them seems to be, they are for Harry. Okay, I hope so. Cross finger. I posted about early and said I don't think they had reported correctly on it, and I was right. Now seeing all the details about it on this post, that the British media, for you always reposting half of the story. Okay, half of the story to fit the narrative. He will win. Hate and evil will never win. Good. Okay, praying for him. Yeah, some parts here, I don't know. Maybe I misunderstand. Remember my disclaimer? I'm not a lawyer or, barrister. So do not take whatever I said at face value. Some part here, this part here. Okay, this is very important. The Duke of Sussex was responsible for public statement. If he's trying to negotiate with people, this is something very private. His security details. So that he wants to keep that private. So he's not responsible for that. Okay? He's dealing with keeping things private, but why will the court, now that I'm looking at it this way again, why will the court feel like the Duke of Sussex was responsible for public statement? Okay? Issue on his behalf, which claimed that he was willing to pay for police protection in the UK. Okay? And that his legal challenge was to the government's refusal to permit him to do so, whereas the true position, okay, so this is where they're canceling this part here. Whereas the true position as revealed in documents filed and the legal proceedings, but which document that was filed? Is it this court document or someplace else? Was there something with the government? Okay. Whereas the true position as revealed in documents filed and the legal proceeding was that he had only made the offer to pay after the proceeding had commenced. So this is where Harry had to talk and, defend himself. Why this? Did he mention that at the beginning? Again, I have to go back. And negotiation, it's step by step. So which legal proceeding? This is where I'm confused here. Is it this legal proceeding that was happening that Harry had filed? Or was it in the middle of negotiation? This is where I'm a little bit confused here. What legal proceeding? because I could understand in the middle of negotiation. Sometimes negotiation might take a long. Okay, when you look at, for instance, Princess Diana was negotiating with Charles of what the settlement will be. It took a while.
I think Diana bitterly regretted the divorce. I think she fought until the last minute to prevent a divorce. She didn't want one. It was awful for the children. I think it still affects them very badly. But I don't think Diana wanted it at any stage.
The final chapter of the royal marriage lasted from June 1996 to August.
The princess this evening, Diana knowing that her estranged husband has now made his divorce offer. That offer was put together here at the Royal Solicitors Farrers, ending a 10-week deadlock over the divorce negotiations.
Okay, so if Harry is in negotiation with the government, it's step by step. You don't reveal your card all of a sudden, all at once. Okay, it's step by step. You give me this and I give you that. You give me this and I give you that. Step by step. So if it's in the middle of negotiation, okay, and then later on Harry said, okay, then I will pay for it myself. Okay, so it's step by step. When did the paper all of a sudden notice and to mislead people? So we need to figure out when Harry said it and when the paper put the thing out. So this will be the key point here for me. And the thing I'm realizing as I'm listening to my pre-recorded earlier is that Harry was talking to his family at the Sandrium Summit and letting them know that it was he will pay for it. But also remember how Charles removed the Queen Secretary and all of that. There were people within the palace who Harry was not aware was part of Ravik, and Charles was the one who was controlling Ravik. This is how Charles was trying to keep his hand clean and pretend that he's not part of it. And then this is what's really scary with things, is that the judge removed, or say, he didn't completely say he removed it, but there's a possibility the Sandrium Summit may not be used in this case. But this is where Harry have said it. And then the thing is that this is where things is a bit muddy. This is where things are a bit muddy if people are not aware of some of this stuff. Because Charles removed the Queen Secretary, and it was from Lord Gates, that was the original secretary. Charles changed him to Edward Young, and then Edward Young was the one that Charles wanted, and Andrew, to be the Yester type of a person. And it seems like Young was part of Ravik as well. So if Harry is talking to the father and the family about that, and then Edward Young is the Yeswick type of a person for Charles, so this type of thing should have been already communicated. This is a very muddy part here. This is where they need to clear things out, and then for Harry to put the connection together. So this is going to be very, very messy. It's very messy, and it's even hard for me to explain. It's very messy. But people need to understand the steps, the things that were happening behind closed doors. Or not really behind closed doors, because articles were discussing it. You just have to know to plug in the dots. The same way Omid have plugged the dots, and then the royal rats are upset at him. But yeah, it's very messy. I don't know how this will go. Alright? So this is the part here that's a little bit really, I don't know. Okay? I don't know. So yeah. Alright, so we just need to pray and Harry find his way of proving himself. Alright, because if you're in the middle of negotiation, it's step by step. You can't reveal your cards all at once. Let's go to the next tweet. So this is other people reporting on it. There's only one comment under it. Prince Harry's libel case against the Mail on Sunday over an article about security arrangement must go to trial. A judge at London's High Court had ruled, rejecting a bid to have the publisher's defense thrown out. Okay, so the defense of the paper was to throw the case out. So the judge is saying, no, it's gonna go to trial. So giving a little bit more time to explain themselves. All right, so if the paper wants to settle, then Harry could settle this out. But otherwise, it's a long battle. Okay, go Harry. All right, anyone, I know there's some squaddies who are in the legal system. Feel free to answer it. And I really suggest some of the people who watch my videos read the comments, because many times, especially when it has to do with legal issues, read the comments, because some squaddies who are in the legal system will explain some stuff further. Okay, there was something I was reading. Which trial was that? I don't know, some court that, oh, the Samantha thing. And I was reading some stuff, giving my opinion, just like I'm doing here. And I was confused between, what was the word? Something, prejudice without prejudice. I think that was, I already forgot that already. Okay. And I look it up. I did put on the screen what some of these things mean. And then one of the squaddies responded on the comment and explained it further. So I truly suggest, when it has to do with legal videos of mine, read the comments, because a lot of good squaddies will explain further, okay, or discredit anything that I said in the video. Okay, so this is another disclaimer. I'm not in the legal system. All right, so let's continue. This is the next tweet. Prince Harry will go to trial when God before you, who shall be against you. Okay, so it's only 30 seconds and there will be screenshot. I'm sorry, YouTube is against my videos. All right, so it's on my butt when I show videos playing fully without interruption. So let's listen. The key point here, when there is a video clip that I'm sharing with you, key part here is listen. Okay, forget of what I'm showing.
The judge, looking at Prince Harry's libel claim against the Mail on Sunday, has ruled that the case must go to trial, according to Reuters. Remember, back in November, the High Court agreed that Prince Harry and other celebrities could pursue their claim against the paper. Well, now we understand where that a judge has said that it must go to trial. More on that as we get it.
All right. So this is, we need to be somewhat very, because there's so many cases that's going on with Harry, but this one has to do with security. It's not the same thing as the other one that we were seeing. I think, I don't know, you guys could correct me again. Okay, thank God. Okay, so there's another piece here. Harry still has a big fight on his hand. Thank you. That's what I just read here. The judgment said the fail could be successful if they can prove what they wrote was honest opinion. Pray for Harry and his legal team. Okay, so 16. Let me open another tab to see if these parts. Okay, next step. I think that's the parts that I was having confused here. Let me open another tab to see if this is the same part where I had some issues with. Let me open another tab and put the link of that other, this one. What part was it? The court earlier decision. We had 4 to 6 and what else? Okay, 16, 17. So this is the part that this person is showing. This part here, which has, is it? I'm going back and forth. 13, 63, judgment, 19, 19. Okay, so I've read this already. I'm not gonna read it again. This is the part here as well that the judge did say the paper could still be successful. Now, can the paper prove? Now, the part where the core issue for me after reading, let me put this while I'm talking so you guys could read it yourself, okay? The part that really got me here is that if Harry is in the middle of a, what's the word? I forgot already. Negotiation. If Harry is in the middle of negotiation, how does the paper already know certain things to be printed? So this is the key issue here. If this goes to trial and then there's discovery, who was telling the paper certain things? This is the part where Harry have to focus on while he is negotiating with the government. Okay, this should be something private, his security. Okay, security has to be private. You don't want people to know about all this stuff that's going on. Look what happened in New York, for instance. So these things should be private. So if he is in the middle of negotiation, how the hell do the paper already know all of this stuff? So who he was negotiating with was telling the paper all of this stuff. Despite the fact that, okay, they're saying here, Harry was supposed to make something public, or blah, 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 whatever. I read it already. I'm saying blah, 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 but they are important. Okay, I don't remember all the wordings. Okay, so Harry needs to figure out, if I'm in the middle of negotiation with you, and I'm telling you, you know, one step at a time, okay, to be in a negotiation, you have to be strategic. You don't relieve or you don't reveal all your cards all at once. Even if at the end, Harry was gonna pay for it himself, but he needs to know step by step, what are you gonna do? So I could do this. If you do that, I'm gonna do this. Okay, step by step. So in the middle of negotiation, how the hell do the paper already know all of this stuff? This is the part where Harry should focus on if it goes to trial. Despite the fact that the paper know or was saying something, and then the judge is saying that, where's the part? I need to go to the other one, which is this part here where I have, no, not that one. Let's go to the next, which is this one here. It's kind of small here. This part here, that they're saying that it was in the middle of the proceeding that Harry have said he's gonna pay for it. So remember, negotiation take times. You know, one side said one thing and the other one go back to his drawing board. How I'm gonna do this? How can I do that? Based on what they offer me. Then okay, I'll pay for it myself. And then go back to the drawing board and go back and forth. This is negotiation that was going on between Harry and the government. How in the hell was the paper was able to write all of this stuff when he was in the middle of negotiation, not knowing the paper knew about the stuff that he was telling the government? This is the key point for me. Okay, so let's go back. This is where I'm at here. I'm sorry, I changed screen. All right, so let's read some of the comments here. There's 4 comments under here. Okay, like this person here. Harry still has a big fight on his hand, and which I think as well. The judgment said the fail could be successful if they can prove what they wrote was an honest opinion. Pray for Harry and his legal team. Honest opinion based on what? Okay, how did you get your opinion based on what? All right, and then the judge is saying here, this is the thing for me here, that Harry was supposed to make a public statement. Harry don't owe the public nothing. Nothing. Okay, he is doing something for his family.
The private life has to be private, and I hope people respect that.
Okay, his family safety. So he doesn't need to go in public to tell anybody a damn thing, because he's trying to get the best possible security for his family when everyone around him is against him. So why should he go to public and make a statement? So he's keeping things private, trying to figure out things. Okay, and then the judge is saying it was later, that it was in the middle of proceeding, that Harry decided to offer money. But the judge is wrong here as well. Because in the, well, maybe he's not wrong or whatever. I don't want to discredit him. But that the part for me here, if he's in the middle of a negotiation, okay, things is going on, he's still talking to the government, not the paper. Harry has nothing to do with the paper when he's dealing with the government for the safety of his family.
The private life has to be private, and I hope people respect that.
So Harry owed the public zero, nothing. And he's only owed the government his own, I guess, negotiation part. That's all he owed the government. What can I give you in order for you to give me this? This kind of thing. So even though it seems kind of a very disturbing thing from the court, but this is where Harry should focus. I think he has an argument on that part as well. And the Harry needs to find out how the hell did the paper knows what was going on between him and the government. Okay? So Harry needs to tell the government, the judge. Harry needs to tell the judge, I owe the public nothing. I'm not a working royal. I don't owe the public nothing when it comes to the safety of my family. I didn't have to make any statement at all. I was in the background trying to make a deal with the government. So when I'm over there in the country, how can I keep my family safe? Why the hell did the court tell Harry that he should have put something out? No. All right, so let's continue. Okay, I think this may be separate to the celebrity libel claim. Happy to be corrected if I'm wrong. Yeah, that's what I think too. Okay, this person knows what's going on. Let's see here. Abolish the monarchy. Okay, so that's a squaddy. I thought some squaddies usually put their what they do for a living, so I thought I might see it. So this person is spot on. Harry has a long way to go. Okay, do they ever write honest opinion? Okay, so this is the thing for Harry needs to find out. How the hell were you able to get this information while I'm in the middle of negotiation for the safety of my family with the government? This is the part Harry needs to really take it home run. Okay, it is scary. Reading the court judgment, it is very scary to see this is what the court says. But if Harry does his argument strategically and very step by step, okay, a lot of things could come out of this, I think. All right. Next tweet.